right, welcome everyone. We're excited to be presenting to you. Today we'll be talking about Zype Playout and how Zype helped Vivo, the world's largest all-premium music video provider, bring music videos back into the living room and build and launch linear music video channels at scale. Before we get started with the presentation, let's do a couple of quick speaker intros. So I'll start. I'm Chris Smith, SVP of Product at Zype. I've had a really close hand at building and launching Zype's Playout solution, as well as supporting integration with customers like Vivo using Playout to power their linear streaming experiences. And Adam?
Hi, Chris. I'm Adam Butler, Director of Brand Insight and Measurement here at Vivo, and I've been working closely with Chris and my colleagues at Vivo to build some linear Playout channels.
Awesome. So for today's presentation, we'll be covering a few things. So first, we're going to provide an overview of Zype's Playout solution, touching on key features and capabilities. We'll also go into our platform to showcase a quick demo of how customers build and publish Playout channels in Zype. Next, we'll go into Vivo Everywhere and how Vivo is leveraging Playout. And lastly, we're going to touch on a couple of early outcomes and results from Vivo launching Playout linear solutions and Zype's outcomes as well. Cool, so let's dive a bit into Zype Playout. So for some background, we launched Zype Playout to help customers build, publish, and distribute IP-based virtual linear live streams. This complements Zype's existing capabilities around video infrastructure, content management, and APIs that support more traditional VOD, live, and linear distribution. Now, with virtual linear live programming, we see a significant opportunity for customers to increase audience engagement, viewership reach, and in turn, really dial up revenue opportunities both around ads and paywalls. We see a really fast-growing ecosystem of free ad-supported streaming providers and vMVPDs that are wiring up user experiences and linear channel programming that enable content owners to connect to broader audiences with minimal technical investment. So in addition to providing the programming and publishing workflows, Zype Playout is also focused on helping content owners connect to these distribution partners more easily. Now, this slide provides an overview of Zype Playout from a content ingestion, programming, monetization, and publishing workflow. Customers can import video assets into Zype from a variety of sources. So starting on the left, customers get content into our platform, and once in Zype's video CMS, programming is a pretty simple process. Zype Playout leverages the same content curation and programming interfaces that customers use today for owned and operated publishing and distribution. Customers can leverage built-in ad management tools to generate standard SCTE35 markers, which are compatible with most major ad servers for server-side and dynamic ad insertion. And then at the end, Zype supports publishing to really any destination that accepts standards-based HLS or RTMP, which then helps power the end user streaming experiences. So to reiterate, Zype Playout covers the full broadcast lifecycle from content ingestion, programming, ad management, to distribution to owned and operated social and virtual MVPD endpoints. The Zype Video CMS offers best-in-class content import and programming capabilities. So we allow customers to import from a wide range of options for content ingestion. We automate playlist programming using categories and simple programming tools. And we support HLS and RTMP-based encoding for linear live Playout channels that are generally supported by most streaming partners. Within Zype Playout, Zype provides simple tools for customers to program and manage ad breaks within their linear channels, including ad slate management. And Zype handles the technical complexity around SCTE35 ad marker conversion, automatically generating ad markers within the linear streams, which are then used for server-side and dynamic ad insertion supported by most major ad servers. So to summarize, with Zype Playout, what we really want to do is empower customers to focus less on the technical complexities of scheduling, broadcasting, and distributing linear channels, so that instead they can focus more on making really good programming and monetization decisions, engaging with and reaching wider audiences, and expanding their distribution reach. So I'll now hand things over to Adam to give us a bit more background on Vivo and the Vivo Everywhere initiatives and how that relates to PlayOut.
Great, thanks, Chris. So I'll start with a little bit about Vivo. So we were founded in 2009 as a joint venture between Sony Music and Universal Music, the two largest record label groups. 2009 was an era of the internet and music video shifting away from traditional linear channels like MTV and VH1 to primarily YouTube. At that time, there was no official home for music video on the internet. Users often had a poor experience when searching for music video. There would be multiple versions of the same song, and no one knew which was the correct official version of the music video that the artist wanted their fans to see. And Vivo was created to solve that problem. We acted as a mark of authenticity and a kind of custodian of this content category. We also had a responsibility to help break new artists with creating original content so that fans could learn about the latest artists coming onto their scene. And finally, monetization, helping the artists and the record labels effectively monetize this content, which was started out life as a promotional tool, but has now moved forward to become a vast media category in its own right. The next slide gives some details of just how big a content category this is. We reach about 1 billion people each month around the world via YouTube. We have 5 billion views of our content every single month, and it's available in over 55 territories around the world. The next slide kind of tells the story of our growth, our evolution, or the evolution of music video from 2012 to the present day. Back in 2012, you can see this chart shows the platform consumption, desktop, mobile, and TV. Back in 2012, desktop was by far and away the dominant source for viewing music video, with mobile making up the balance. Fast forward a couple of years, and you can see that mobile became the dominant form. And that kind of made sense. The content is short form, it's snackable, and makes the perfect fit with mobile smaller screen devices. But over the last couple of years, we started to notice this growth on TV. And today, TV makes up 100% of the growth that we are seeing. It is the fastest growing screen by a long distance. We, in fact, went from at the beginning of this year with 1 in 5 views of our content coming from TV. That's now 1 in 4. So it really is an explosive growth that we're seeing. And it got us thinking, is our content, is our offer to the consumer on that screen as optimal as it could be? So on the next slide, we'll be able to see that 70% of connected CTV viewers watch music video every month. People are using this screen not just for Netflix and long-form scripted content, they're also using it for the stuff that they at one time may have watched on YouTube. The next slide talks a little bit about the audience for this stuff. So we're reaching about 39 million people in the living room each month. That growth is 35% up year on year. And that screen now is 1 billion, about a fifth of our views come just from that screen. There is obviously a big difference, as I mentioned, with the TV screen to the mobile screen. It's naturally a lean-back device. It has much higher levels of engagement than on mobile. On mobile devices, people are consuming maybe 2 to 3 songs in a session, like I mentioned, snackable. But on TV, that's more like 5 to 8 songs. And playlists are extremely popular on TVs relative to other platforms, while search under-indexes. And that got us thinking, is the experience that we have at the moment on TV as good as it could be? And we thought, let's make some linear channels that I think combine all of those things of lean back viewing, curation, and taking away the effort from the consumer to search for the songs that they need. So that brought us to the Vivo Everywhere initiative. And on the next slide, you can see some of the partnerships that we've developed. So outside of YouTube, our content is available on all of the logos that you see on the screen there, whether it's in a VOD experience or a linear experience. And working with Zype is how we were able to create our lean back experience of play out music video channels. I think we're going to move on now to talk about some of the outcomes that we've seen from those channels.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Adam. That was super insightful in terms of the background on Vivo Everywhere, and I think it'd be great if you could share a little bit on some of the early learnings and findings that you're seeing with your linear channel distribution.
Yeah, so we've launched 6 channels since December 2019, and it's been great to see the growth that we've witnessed since that time. Each week over week, we've noticed that viewing is increasing. In fact, last week was actually our biggest week of the year so far in terms of viewership. In the period since December, we've seen over 1.3 billion hours of our content streamed. We've served more than 170 million ad impressions. The integration that we were able to do with Zype and Freewheel has allowed us to have a kind of quasi-addressability to our audience. We're able to use some kind of broad targeting tactics to really deliver the ads in a tailored experience to the end user. And finally, we've also integrated an analytics API with our own data warehouse that allows us to get near real-time updates surfaced via our business intelligence tools and out to business users around Vivo. And they support with everything from royalty payments. We have to pay on a particularly difficult scale where we count views per video, and Zype was able to help with a solution to do that. We're able to look at content analytics. We can figure out which genres are performing well. And finally, we're able to create some great sales marketing collateral to help prove that these channels are popular, they're growing, and that our audiences and our advertising clients want to be there.
That's awesome. Super exciting to see the early kind of growth results, and really look forward through the rest of this year and beyond to see where else linear channel programming takes Vivo. Cool. And on Zype's
sure.
side, we have been publishing playout channels now for a good amount of time. I think we see playout now, really serving customers at scale. I think Adam touched on some of the scale that Vivo individually is experiencing, but our playout service is performing at scale, serving millions of viewers and hundreds of millions of ads on a routine basis. Our playout service is supported now by major vMVPDs, and really including any standard space HLS or RTMP destination. We have ad integration supported now with most of the major ad servers, Freewheel, Google Ad Manager, SpotX, and powering it all, is a really fast performance CDN and infrastructure that's really focused around optimizing end viewer delivery. And Adam touched on this earlier. We also at the tail end know it's so important for customers to be able to drive insights around their content consumption and engagement with viewers. So we're providing a deep granular analytics service that can help these customers drive important business decisions and insights. Awesome. The last quick thing that we want to touch on today is just a quick showcase of Vivo's playout solution. So one of the kind of awesome things that Adam had touched on is being able to create these really engaging lean back experiences. I know firsthand, I've watched a good amount of music video content myself. So, this is just a good framing to showcase, how the play out experience, that the linear programming experience is rendered on a connected TV device, as opposed to, kind of the mobile or desktop smaller screen experiences that Adam said, had been part of the consumption mix predominantly before. Cool. And with that, I think we just want to say thank you for tuning in on both Zype and Vivo's behalf. Hope you learned a little bit about Playout and, got inspired in terms of the story that Adam was able to share around Vivo Everywhere and Vivo's push into linear programming and distribution.
Thanks, everyone.